Sound baseline check. After developing the project's baseline schedule based on contractors' means and methods and utilizing the project drawings and specifications, the schedule developer should perform a detailed assessment of the soundness of the created baseline. Schedule Cracker will help the project manager to confirm the integrity of the schedule structure and speed its approval by the owner's representative. With Schedule Cracker, this is possible without logging into Primavera or MS Project. This allows preserving hours of the project manager's time and increased accuracy of the required analysis. Examples of standard 78 baseline check metrics and their recommended interpretations are shown here. Project start date has to match the notice to proceed date, NTP, of the contract. Lowest total float. Total float should be 0 or positive to be acceptable, and in case of being negative, it implies that the project schedule will not allow either the project or at least one of its constraints to finish on time. Project mandatory finish date. It has to match the contracted finish date or updated finish date based on an approved time extension of the project. Calculated finish date shows when the project will finish based on the contractor's schedule. This date should precede the contract mandatory finish date. If not, adjustments to the schedule have to be put in place, such as allowing concurrency of critical activities or adjustments of proposed durations for some critical activities. Project's total budget cost. If the project is cost-loaded, the total budget cost should match the bid amount with or without the markups depending on project specifications. Critical activities. They have to match the activities that the contractor expects to be critical. If not, the relationships between activities may need to be revised. Invalid relationships between activities. Activities with multiple types of relationships connecting them are detected with this metric. Such relationships can affect the accuracy of the critical path. There should be no activities linked together with more than one relationship. Activities with no successor. As a scheduling best practice, only the project's last activity should be with no successor. Any other activity without a successor activity should be linked to the logical successor activity. Activities with no predecessor. As a scheduling best practice, only the project's start activity should be with no predecessor. Any other activity without a predecessor activity should be linked to the logical predecessor activity. Activities without predecessor and/or successor may lead to an inaccurate critical path. Activities constraints. Activity constraints should match the project-required constraints only. Any added constraints in the project can affect the accuracy of the critical path. It can force non-critical activities to appear as critical or vice versa. Milestone activities. They should match the contract milestones in addition to any internal milestone for the contractor. All the metrics can be easily exported to Excel or to ready-to-print reports, thus helping with the communication necessary to reach consensus on the project schedule baseline.